Okay. Hi guys. Hi Crystal. Nice to see you, Crystal Devine. Okay. How do I get this to switch around? Oh, no. You don't know how to switch it. Hi Lisa. I'm trying to switch my camera. Okay, there it is. I always have a hard time. This is just a quick live because I have work in a few hours and I'm really tired. But as you can see, I took my makeup off. I don't know why I'm looking so close up. That's too close. Just having a salsa. Is this a salsa? Yeah. I just wanted to discuss a couple of things that I found out. And hopefully you could hear me. I just burnt a little sage. A Palo Santo, actually. And I lit my candle that is for the children when the war first broke out. Let me see if I could. This is important to me, so you put the light on, turn you around again. You see, this is the candle Flyer B gave me, and it says, protect all of God's children. Oh, good, I'm glad you could hear me. And there's a prayer on here that I don't know if I have the eyesight to see it. I used to have this same picture in my kids' room over my son and daughter because it's the angel watching over the children, guardian angel. Okay, and yeah, it means something to me. Every time I light that is for not just protect the children in Israel or the Gaza Strip or Palestine, it's protect the children everywhere. United States, everywhere, the whole world. So let me just turn off my fireplace because I actually have my fireplace on, guys. I know that's weird, but I had a chill and it's raining real bad. Hold on a second, guys. I'm sorry. I need a stand for my... Don't look at my messy house. You could look at my New York. Yeah, don't worry. I do have something to say. I was going to do a regular video, but I go by Spirit, and Spirit told me, nah. Spirit told me, stop being such a scaredy cat. One second. My lips are so dry. After I take off my makeup, I find my lips are so chapped. So I'm putting on my little pink lip so I could tell you a couple of things that I discovered. And I might have to put some Palo Santo back on again. But we'll see. I'll see. I gotta put the bangs back down. Okay, so it's a good thing not that many people are on because I think I would feel I would feel like I have to read the chat. So if I look away from the chat, I don't get that many people on my lives anyway, and that's okay. Whether it's advertised or not advertised, I usually get maybe at the most 28 people. But God told me that doesn't matter. So this is what I found out. I've been going through a couple of things as anybody who follows me, and when you follow me, that means basically you either texting with me, and I say texting because I don't go on the phone, or you watch my videos, and I try to keep you up on everything. So I was struggling because some people that I thought would follow me and I thought would, see my video that I did when I was in the car and upset about last Friday, right? I'm still not over it. I'm not over it. I really had to pray a lot, and I'm the type of person that, the last time I had an incident at that school, I took off 2 weeks. I didn't go to work for 2 weeks, okay? And who did I hurt? Who did I hurt? I didn't really hurt myself, but I didn't hurt them by not going in. And what I should have done was go into other places, go to other schools that would appreciate me. And like that happened today. And the school that I had gone to last week and the week before that I kind of started out my subbing in. So anyhow, what I found out is because I've been doing a lot of soul searching, and I've been trying to figure out, like, why the frig? And I know this happens in teaching, but I just, like, I'm always trying to figure out the meaning of life. And there's wars going on, the border is not secure, and there's all kinds of things, diseases, and I feel like, probably like everybody else, there's no control. And guess what? I found out. I got an answer. Seek and you shall find if you listen, if you learn to listen. And I really was listening because I cried a lot of times. I'm a big crybaby. And I'm not like ashamed to admit it because it's a good release. If you keep your tears in, it could cause different types of diseases. I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me on that, but just metaphysically speaking, my mother used to always say, because she didn't like me crying because I was a crybaby, and I still am to this day, 60 years later. But she would tell me, don't be so sensitive and stop being so wishy-washy. But when I did cry, she would say, that's okay. Because then I would get to the point where I couldn't stop and I would be like, that where you can't breathe. And she would say, it's good because you're getting the toxins out. And I would say, what does that mean? I didn't know what toxins meant. And she said, the bad things that made you cry went inside. But if you cried it got it out. And then you just wash your face off and keep it moving. She didn't say keep it moving, but she meant it. Okay. That's what she meant. And also she would say, now that's enough now. And she would put it back to me. Okay. Same thing my dog Cleo used to do. That's how I knew my dog Cleo had something to do with my mom. Anyway, I know I can get off the topic. Hi, Eleanor. Hi, Jennifer. I don't know why I'm saying it that way. I'm trying not to have such a strong New York accent, but welcome anybody who comes in. So I didn't write it down in my book. I wrote it down in my head. I wrote it down in my soul. And I was like, should I share it to my spirit guides and God? And they're like, absolutely. Like when I don't share it, That's what I always tell my friends and people who care about me. When you don't see me that much, doing that many videos, that's when you worry. That's when you worry, because I'm either dead or I'm really in bad shape, depressed. Okay. I don't, I try not to stay depressed too long. Okay. Some people might not catch it if they're not in tune with me because I have like an outer happiness where I try to keep it happy and count my blessings, which I do, because look what's going on in the world. And so I was seeking an answer. And some people were like, hey, maybe this is the reason that you needed to know that you should, it's for time to retire. But I don't feel that inside. But I was thinking about it, and I asked my guides, and I asked God. Sorry, my face is swollen, as usual. Okay. Who knows why? I don't know why. Salsa time. I'm really dry. My throat is really dry. My neck hurts, so after this video, I will have to take my muscle relaxer and pray for the best. Okay. So, because I have to teach kindergarten in a different school, but it's another good school that I like. And I'm like, look at this. You know, all right. So, this I found out a few things. So, let me start. They said start with personal and move it out. All right. So, let me start with personal. So, that day and the day after, last Friday, I was really thinking, like maybe I stayed too long, and like who am I to think that I could just transfer from New York, Staten Island, and then Brooklyn, and then move to Texas 3,000 miles away, and then just pick up where I left off and, you know, and just be a teacher here. Because Lord knows I've tried. I tried everything I could think of. Um, I went on, like some people don't know, like I have a friend that lives in Florida. I know her from, um, she used to be like kind of my manager when I was a psychic on Staten Island. And she would drive me to Brooklyn for parties, psychic parties. She would watch my time and time me and make sure that I got paid, because a lot of times people would try not to pay. And I couldn't be in charge of that because my head was like, you know, my head was up in the clouds. And a lot of times I had to sub the next day and I couldn't because I was out too late doing the psychic readings. And then I shut down my psychic readings because I said, I want to be a teacher. So I want to focus on, I had two little kids at home and I was married. And I said, I want to focus on that because that's enough to focus on. And I didn't want to give up my dream of becoming a teacher. So, what does this have to do with anything? Okay, so just basically, I was really trying to discover if I was supposed to be a sub anymore. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. So my friend, she said, "Why aren't you working full time?" So okay, I don't know if she knows I'm 60 years old. Did I say I'm 60 years old enough? But I know people in New York, they don't retire. Even people out here, they don't retire till in the 70s, sometimes 80s, they're still working because the economy is bad. But anyhow, I went for full-time jobs out here. And I didn't really have to, but I just wanted to have a couple of years of my own classroom and try it out here. So I interviewed in about 4 places. One place I interviewed twice, okay? Filled out like 25 pages of resume, application, gave in all my transcripts from college, how to find them, did all that. I did all that. Even just become a sub, it was so much paperwork. It was an amazing amount. I had like 100 panic attacks, and I said I didn't want to do it. And Devin helped me push myself to do it, to just to be a sub. And but long story short, I did interview for full time jobs, and I said if I don't get something, we moved here when I was 52. Devin was 55. So I tried getting full time teaching jobs so I can have my own class and be permanent in a school. So maybe make friends, right? Because everybody knows nobody makes friends with a substitute. Why? Because even in New York, because they feel like the substitute won't be there, like they're not real. I don't know who the f knows. I've always been friends with anybody who came to the school, anybody who's the substitute next door to my room. I would always help. But anyhow, so I tried the 4 different times, and I said, if I don't get anything full time by age 55, that'll be my sign, you know. So 52, 53, 54. Yeah, by 55, 56, I tried. And I guess what? I did. And I interviewed really long interviews, like you would think I was interviewing for the President of the United States. Okay. It was really weird. I thought it was weird because in New York, the interviews were not that long. But like they knew I had the credentials. I showed them the credentials. I had permanent certification. That's not easy to get. Anyhow, doesn't matter. I ask for a sign, I receive it, and I accept it. So I guess by 55, 56, when I didn't get anything full time, I was like, that's it, there's my sign. And of course, I have this little channel, that takes a lot of work, but I try to make it look easy. Sometimes it's not easy. A lot of times it's not easy. But I try to be of good cheer, and whilst I'm doing it. Anyway, those people across the pond will understand that word. I love that word, whilst. Okay, let me know in the chat if you understand that word. WHILST, whilst. Anyhow, I'm probably not using it correctly, but so a long story short, I've had a long journey. I've had a lot of weird, difficult things that happened to me in my life. And even in terms of teaching, I've had my job taken away from me. Okay. And I had to fight for it. I had to fight for it with lawyer, with, fight the Board of Ed. And guess what? I won. Okay. And that was not without a lot of turmoil. A lot of people told me, just quit. Just quit. So many times in my life, they told me, just quit teaching. Just quit. I mean, get a clue. And family members have said it too. Anyhow, what is my point? My point is that when I when I finish crying about it and bitching about a subject, for example, last Friday, and what happened in the school and that happened several times the year before, but I didn't want to remember it. I didn't want to see it. Okay? But it was just, I don't know, I was like so attached to that school and so attached to those kids. And I was sick of being in pain because I wanted to see those kids graduate. I'm like, my other self is telling myself, but you don't even work there full time. So it's not like you're going to be there for the graduation ceremonies. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but like I could just be subbing and kind of see. And then for some reason in my head, they'll walk past the class I'm subbing in and give me a hug. And I'll say, good luck in 6th grade. And it's a weird feeling. It's a weird thing in my head. I don't know, like that would wrap up my 8 years in Texas to be worth it, because at least, like I would have validation. So I like I hardly went out Friday. Of course, I didn't go out Friday. I was just in a ball of pain. So whenever I would walk the dogs outside on Saturday, um, I'd walk them in the backyard. I wasn't going for my walks. I haven't gone for my walks because if I work, that's the only energy I have. Um, so I said, all right, let me just go walk around the 8 garages. And I kept crying. And I don't want to keep crying because I feel like I don't deserve to cry so much. like that's their mistake and I don't deserve to cry so much. Mad main visions. Just remember there's always a night for French onion soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. I would love that. Can you ship that over to me? I love French onion soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. Who's mad man in my visions? Because that's one of my favorites. All right, don't freak me out when I'm in the middle of my soliloquy. Okay, so anyhow, wait, who's here? Tammy's not here. None of my mods are here, right? Yeah, because I didn't tell anybody. Because I didn't know what I was going to do. I'm on the West Coast, but I'll see what I can do. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. But you have to make the French onion soup with the bread has to be inside that brown bowl, has to be the special brown bowls, and then it has to be Italian bread, of course. And then you have to have a big chunk of mozzarella cheese on the top of it. If you do it like that, that's good. All right, just let me put my hair up because I'm getting like hot flash, and I don't know if it's spirit trying to help me out with trying to speak, or because I'm tired. Hold on a second. I'm still here, guys. I knew there was going to be a couple of Palo Santo burns before I can get my sentences out. And everything is okay. I'm okay. I mean, everything's not 100% okay in the world, but I'm okay in the world. Because I realized I don't have to beat myself up. No, I'm not, of course, I make my mistakes and I make my mistakes and I am not anywhere near a perfect person, but nobody's a perfect person except God. So I guess let me just, okay, he says, well, my spirit guides say, start with being outside. Why does my face have to look so big? I don't understand what's going on. Oh, sourdough, yes. You're making me really hungry. Caramelized. Definitely. Okay. Don't make me hungry. All right. I had onions and olives on my pizza tonight, so that tasted good too, but French onion soup would really be good. Okay, so what I discovered was I go out for my walk just around the garages because I couldn't go anywhere else. Still wearing my pajamas. Whatever I was wearing on Friday night, I was still wearing like in the afternoon on Saturday, because it was one of those days. And I didn't want to cry anymore. I was like, I don't deserve to cry anymore. You know why? Because I'm a good person. And I know I'm a good person, but I'm not a perfect person. But who is? Nobody's perfect except God, Jesus. Even Jesus would say he's not a perfect when he was on the earth. He's not perfect, but he's God's child. Anyhow, whatever. Um, so I'm walking around the garages. I'm watching the dogs because they're cheering me up a little bit, and I just said, just God, please take away the pain. I don't want to feel this pain. What am I supposed to do? Should I go back for that one date that I told the teacher I would come back on in November, right? What am I supposed to do? Like, just don't show up? Just go and do that one more time? Then I started thinking about that kid, and he's already cursed me out twice. And I'm like, I'm going to go back a third time. And Devin did not want me to go back. And he was like, he'll never like forbade me to do anything because, that's not going to get him anywhere. But he was like, then I want to go up to that school and I want to talk on your behalf. And I was like, I'm not a baby and I'm a substitute, so they're not going to give an F. They don't even give an F for the teachers. The teachers told me that they don't even call the parents, they leave it on the teacher. They don't even give the kid who would destroy a room or throw something at a teacher, a chair twice, me, okay, this one. They won't even give him suspension, detention, because they have on their record, what's it called? Emotional distress or emotional disorder or ED. So, anyhow, I was told by two teachers that they don't get any support that way. So, like, in other words, they're looking at me like, yeah, of course, they're going to take it more advantage of you because you're just a sub. Okay. So, and these are teachers that I have told, maybe they don't care, but I've told them, I'm a teacher for 25 years in New York, and I have these credentials, and I worked as an adjunct in a college, 3 different colleges. And, I worked with all different, kids that have IEPs and that have had, all kinds of trauma. But things have to be done. You can't just let these kids run the whole room, run the classroom, threaten a teacher, and nobody does anything about it. Nobody gives an F. I like that phrase. But I'm trying to keep it PG, PG 21. But anyhow, when I was walking around the garages, I was like, I want the disillusion to go. I want the pain to go away from me. Please just take it. I don't want to think about like leaving the kids, and maybe they won't even think about me, and that's even more painful for me, I guess. But just take it away from me. Tell me what to do. Implant that in my head. I know it sounds like it's easy for other people on the outside looking in. But I'm like, when somebody tells me no or makes something hard, I just keep on going at it, you know. And sometimes it's like being chained up and you're chewing off your hand to get to get out of the chains. And by the time you chew your hand off, you're gonna be dead anyway because you're gonna bleed out. So I didn't know if like am I hurting myself more by forcing myself to stay at this school? For some reason, I thought if I don't stay at this school, am I allowing one of my subs said, do whatever you think is right, but if you do not go back, that kid might think he won because he did say he's going to try to get you fired and he's going to put a report on you to the principal. And so then when you don't show up ever, he might be like, wow, I'm good. Yeah, I got my way. Now next. And then I thought about that too because I do like a challenge, and I don't want him to win in that regard. But then I said to myself, I'm chewing off my hand, and I won't be free because I'd be dead, and I won't have any energy for Devin. I won't have any energy for my dogs. I won't have any energy to go be healthy enough to go on my trip with my kids. For what? Because I have a sub job and that I really wanted, and that a kid, you know, threatens me every time I see him and says, I hate this sub. I hate this. And like, this is what was going in my head. Then the waterworks would start, and I would see a couple other kids that were really angels and they were trying to help out. And then other kids were kind of turning to the dark side and kind of hating, Miss Brady too. Um, and fifth grade is like an age where they're not so sweet anymore. It's not cool to like the teacher anymore or be a teacher's pet. So they're kind of like, getting their coolness in. Okay. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it says 10:10. Now it says 13:10. So, okay. Um, just as I was having that last piece of angst, and this was on Saturday, right? I'm just walking around, and I'm so tired, and I was watching a lot of murder shows, but that somehow that relaxes me. I don't know. It keeps my third eye going because I figure out the plot. I try to figure out who did it before the end of the show, and I'm usually right. Okay. But anyhow, I said, God, I can't take it anymore. Let me know. Implant in my head. And that's what I said. Implant it in my head. I just wanted to be in my head and in my heart what I'm supposed to do. And I'm so glad I listened and the message was received. As soon as I came in, I felt better. And I thought it was just because I walked. But I said, no, I was out there for 5 minutes. Okay. It wasn't like a big walk. But at least I moved off the couch. And that took some effort because I was really depressed about it. And then things were all right, so let me just tell you. In my head, I heard, oh, you are not going back there. And don't waste a second. Tell the teacher that you can't, text her and let her know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said it. I answered her, and I just went by her needing me and me wanting to be loyal because don't really feel that needed. I felt like she recognized me, and she always says, I never have to worry every time you come, to the school. You always, I have everything set up, and I always know that you're going to do a great job on the lesson, and I don't have to worry. You know, until like recently when a few of the kids started flipping out. And I have a girl that does that too. But she was a little bit better, and she tried to say she was going to be good for the day. And she flipped out a little bit, but you know what? I didn't give her any attention because I have my hands full with somebody else. Okay? So you have to pick your battles. But anyway, I did end up calling her, not calling her because you know me. I text her and I said, you know what? I'm sorry. I won't be back on the 10th. And matter of fact, I won't be back at all because this has been happening where they don't back me up and they are blaming me for triggering the kid or not handling a kid the right way. In terms of like last year, it was a kid started screaming racial slurs to another kid, and I said, and he stood on a chair, and I said, get down off that chair. But they didn't like that I said it across the room. They said, next time, go over to him and escort him out of the room to talk to him on the side. In other words, kiss his ass or kiss somebody's ass and say, please, would you please talk to me over here? This is what you have to do. Okay. So I do that, right? Um, but I'll tell you, you don't feel any support. You feel like they are blaming you as the teacher, as the educator, for what bad behavior comes out of some of these students and how you're handling it. To immediately come in and say you triggered this kid, or maybe you should have done it this way, or maybe you should have done. The only thing I don't agree with you, one teacher says to me, the only thing I wouldn't have done was ask the kids to raise their hand because that humiliated him. And I said, but it was okay for me to be humiliated and treated like I was lying on the kid? After he was outside in the hallway throwing things, saying how much he hated me, like with venom. I was only in the classroom for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and the teacher was there. She was going to test other kids in the other little room. Anyhow, so God told me, you are not going back. You are to call the teacher so that you don't ruin your weekend, so that you could be at ease. And that's what I did. I texted her. She didn't answer at first, but I told her everything. I said, this has happened last year, maybe the year before. I said, I tried to back up a teacher that was having trouble with two students. And after I gave her my, what I had seen, what the kid had said, this was the same school. Oh yeah, where the girl was threatening. Every single day, she threatened to kill all the students in the classroom and the teacher. And then she told me a little story about a knife. So I told her that. She told the principal. I waited in my car for a call, and that call never came. Not even just to say, hey, I'm okay. Thank you for helping me. Okay? Um, then that same teacher went to a Taylor Swift concert and said she was getting me a size 2X shirt, all because I helped her so many times, right? With these situations. Okay, guess what? I don't have a Taylor Swift shirt. Okay. So I know it's silly, but these things, they pile up on me, on my heart. Okay, I'm not made of wood. I am not made of wood. So what is my point? What is my friggin' point? My point is that um that teacher, the teacher that I told her I won't be coming back. I can't come in for you on the 10th. I'm so sorry, because I did feel sorry about it, because she was like, she put in a soda in her um refrigerator, and she was like, please have that, and have these water bottles are there for you too. And she had this whole room all set up and just like made it hospitable for me, because she appreciated me, um, subbing for her. And I don't have that with a lot of people, or anybody, okay? Until, okay? So she said, although I'll miss you a lot, I'm glad you get away from this crap and not gonna put up with this crap anymore. And, I told her, I don't know if she knew I was going to go to other schools, or if, yeah, I did tell her I have other schools that I can go to, that it's not so, the chairs aren't flying, and the assistant principal isn't, you know, for every story that I said, she matched me she matched me with more horror stories that happened to her. But you know what? People have to put up with it because they need money to eat and they need money to, live on and retire on. So I felt a deep relief. I was still upset about it, but very glad that I was going to a different school on Monday, because if I stayed out like I did for the 2 weeks that I did before, when it happened before, and I just stayed away from all schools and just took a 2 week vacation, what I did was I kept myself away from other schools that my services could have been used, and I would have felt a little bit better. So I got back on the horse again. And that's my point. And I have been struggling with, like, who really knows me or sees my heart. And I'm talking about blood family members. I'm talking about good friends that I know for 50 years. I'm talking about friends that I'm just friends with for the last few years. And I was struggling with it. I was like, who's my friend? Who's a true friend? Who really cares about me, that's related to me? Like, and if they did witness me crying, I got a couple of phone calls, but it's not from, texts and stuff, that they were very upset that what happened to me in the classroom and how the administration treated me and the other teachers, which is to turn a blind eye and also to act like the teacher that talked to me at the end of the day when everybody was gone, right? To me, I thought about that. And then she also threw in that thing where she said, oh, the only thing I wouldn't have done the last time was ask him, ask that student, ask the other students, raise your hand if you heard him say F you to me. So that meant that she heard about it, right? How did she hear about it? Okay, well, she's next door. But she never talked to me personally about it. And every time she saw me come to the school before that, like I wasn't coming for her class, she never said anything to me. So she waits till the whole school is gone. She sees me out in recess. The incident already happened. She sees me in the classroom. She has to pass by my room to get out the door. Okay, she has to go. It's like railroad rooms, so they're connected. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I mean, she talked nicely with me. And then she said, oh, I'll take him in my room the next time you come. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I was like so happy and grateful that she was talking to me. And then I thought to myself, no. And the word hoodwinked comes up a lot, okay? When I'm trying to ask God, show me who's my friend, show me who's cares about me truly, and show me who, doesn't give an F, or just gives a little bit of an F when it's convenient for them, okay? Because I want to know. I just want to know the truth. It doesn't mean my reaction is not going to be really like on a professional level. I go to work. I don't look to have friends anymore because it's been 8 years. It's not happening. Okay. The only person that called me personally were two teachers. And well, it used to be three. But anyhow, and that was just really to fill in. And so that's it. But I said, in general, I want to know, you want to know who's for you. Because if they're not for you 100%, I don't know if that's like a New York thing or just that's an Italian thing, because I'm not Italian, I'm Irish and British and whatever. um I'm American, but it's just for me at this stage in the game, I don't got time to waste. Like, I don't want anybody to waste my time, and I don't want to waste my time either. So I will still deal with people professionally. I'll be my sweet self, okay? Um, some people think, oh, because I'm from New York, that I'm mean. And well, people from New York are mean, and they're like, hey, but you're not mean. And I'm like, yeah. And they go, but you're from New York. See, this, I know a heck of a lot meaner people, and people who go to church twice a week. Some people that I know, and they are not open in their heart, um, and giving. So it's just like, I want to know, and I told God, I said, I want to know the good, bad, and the ugly. Just show it to me, but I promise I'll still keep, I'm still loyal. I'm still royal loyal, but I just have the side eye. I have a side eye, you know. I just don't want. It's almost like when somebody ghosts you, and it's painful if they ghost you. I don't want that person to give a fake fuck if they're not like on my brother-in-law used to say when I first got divorced. He had to go to the courthouse, or he worked near the courthouse, and he saw my ex-husband, and my ex-husband was trying to say hi to him, and like, hey, you want to go to lunch? And he walked past him. And my sister said, and I said, why did you do that? Why didn't you say hi? And he said, you're either on Team Kathleen or you're not on any team at all. So that really meant a lot to me, because I was like, that was, like, you could have said hi. He goes, no, nope, you're my sister-in-law, and he didn't do the right thing. So it's Team Kathleen or not at all. Okay. So I guess what I'm saying is, I don't have time for phoniness. I don't have time for fair weather friends, because my time is ticking away over here. Okay? We don't know about tomorrow. We just know about today. So I will still treat people how I want to be treated. But I asked God, I said, let me know what I'm supposed to know, and the stuff that maybe is too sad, I don't want to know about that. I know it sounds confusing, but it's like internal dialogue that I have with God and Jesus and my spirit guides. And so I made that phone call to her on the Saturday afternoon, and she finally did say, I'm glad, I will miss you, but I'm glad you're going to do that for yourself. Get out, and have self-respect. Don't let them do that to you again. It's disrespectful. And like, it was almost like the way some of the kids that were laughing, and then the other girl saying that she wanted to get out of the room because she didn't want to see me anymore. And it was just like, it flipped me out. It's just like, yeah, it's over. Okay, so circle back to today. I go to the school. I'm a little bit nervous because I go to the school a handful of times a year. I would say less than 5. Do I want to work there more? Yeah, I do. Because it's usually very easy. Anyhow, um, so like everybody's gone. Like all the secretaries that I used to know that had me on speed dial, they're not there. So it's like new people. But I was treated so well. The teacher was in conferences and stuff, so she was there, and my key didn't work. So she gave me her key. She took it off the actual chain and handed it to me. Um, and that really helped because when you can't get the door open, you have to lock the doors constantly. You have to open and lock it, every single time. So a lot of times the key doesn't work, and I can't, stand there that long because I'm going to be late to pick up the kids. So I was so glad that she gave me her key because I think they're making the substitute keys, they don't work. And then you're stuck outside the building, whatever. Anyhow, they they treated me so nicely, and I was like, am I being punked? And it makes me cry a little bit. Not maybe a little bit low key sadness because I wasn't used to being treated that way. I got so desensitized. Okay, just go to this room and stay in here and don't go to the teacher's room because you don't have anybody to talk to. Or sit in your car and eat your lunch because that's peaceful. Or just sit in the classroom if you have a classroom. I got desensitized to being treated right. And I would always say it's okay because those kids in that school, they give me such good hugs and they're always nice to me and they seem like they're happy to see me. But it was getting less and less. It was getting to be less and less. And then with the two teachers and the secretary that left, um, that were there last year and they left, and the secretary used to hug me. The teacher that was there used to hug me too, or at least say hello and thank you so much for coming. And where's your, she would see me and she would bring her um, calendar and give me like 4, 5, 6 dates ahead of time into the next year. And so that made me feel special. That was all gone. Um, I didn't have that in any other school. So I go to this school and a teacher comes over and I think she's just saying, you know, she'll help me because the real teacher is there. And she goes, here's my phone number, the real teacher of the class. And it was kindergarten and the kids were real cute, very, very, very cute. And I have kindergarten tomorrow too. Already took my medicine a while ago, an hour ago, but I'm still awake. So I have my patch on. I'm probably gonna make chamomile tea with cinnamon in it. Really works. It I can't say enough about that. If you have any kind of sleep problem, that helps. That really helps. I only usually make it to through like 4 sips and then I fall asleep. But I also watch angel videos, and that's been helping too. So anyhow, I thought that the other teacher was being nice to me because the teacher of the classroom was there and she was on the campus. But she she came back later on and she said, "Oh, because I said, can I follow you? Because I know how to get to the gym, but I didn't know if there was a different route because I'm always in different campuses. So I didn't want to get lost, and I said, "Do we go to the prep period at the same time? If I can follow you, I'd appreciate it." And she looked at me and she smiled, like, I guess that was a weird request. I don't know. I'm a weirdo. I just figured she would be like the other school I was in, the other schools where they would say, "Yeah, okay, you can walk with me," and then they would leave. They they wouldn't come by. Um, yeah. So I'm not gonna carry that pain. I'm gonna release it. So I went. So she came back later and she said, "If we have recess, I'm gonna send a boy in to let you know so that you could bring the class out." Because they had like 3 recesses, but we had to stay in because it was raining. Anyway, I was like, "You gonna do that?" And then I figured, oh, nobody will come. And sure enough, a kid came in and said, "Oh, no, there's no recess because it's raining." And I said, "Oh, thank you so much. Please tell that teacher." And then I saw her and I said, thanked her so much. I don't know why these things, I'm not crying now. It's just tears from before. But what I found out is God wanted me, if I just went into my deep depression and just said, the heck with it, I'm so sick of trying, I'll just stay home. I wouldn't have met these kids today, and I wouldn't have met those teachers that were nice to me. And I think the assistant principal, I don't know who anybody is, but they kept asking me, "How's your day going so far? Is your day okay?" And I was like, "Very good, thank you." And then one of the kids did the gun sign with his fingers, and I was going to make a big deal about it. So I told the nurse, because we were all in the nurse's office, because they were getting their eyes checked and the ears checked. So I was trying to keep them quiet. And the kid, did the gun sign, but he did it at me. So I just went up to his face. It's kindergarten. If I can't handle kindergarten, I'm going to hang up my shoes. Okay. I'm going to hang up my pencil case. So he said, he said something, and I was like, is he speaking in a different language? And then I just walked over to the other kids that I was telling them, okay, be quiet. Oh, the nurse wanted me to call some kids in. I heard him call me, so I went over to him. I said, "What'd you say?" And he said, "They're gonna come in the door, and it's gonna be bang bang, you're dead." He did it again. He kept on pointing to the door, and then at me with the gun. So I waited. I said, don't you do that. We don't do that in school. We don't do that anymore. We don't even play like that. Don't say things. Don't say that." So I looked the other way, and he was still talking to himself or whatever. So we get ready to go, and I tell the nurse, I said, "Would you believe," or the nurse of the classroom teacher, not the classroom teacher, the nurse. She was the nurse, but she was really nice to me. Like, usually people don't look at me. They just, maybe they'll say hi or whatever. It's like, everybody's busy. And I understand that, it's business as usual. It's hard to run a school in a day, and everybody has their own problems. So I was aligning the kids up, and I told them to say thank you to the nurse, thank you to the other lady, and I told her what happened. You know what she did? I'm not sad. I'm happy. But I think I was really getting desensitized from that other place. She said, "He did what?" So she went to talk to him. I don't know what he said to her. I couldn't hear anything. I think he just wouldn't answer her, but I think he did the thing to her too. So anyhow, she whisked him out, called the assistant principal, or maybe the principal. I don't know who anybody is. Um, and they whisked him out, And he was gone. And then I brought the kids from this one building to the other building, right? Which isn't that easy to do because it's like kind of far. But anyhow, they were good. They were so good, except for, and it was okay. It's okay. You're never gonna have like everybody like angels walking. Um, Anyhow, I get the kids back to the class and we're doing the mini lesson. Everybody's listening. Then all of a sudden, the principal walks in with him, and she says he has something to tell you, and he doesn't want to say anything. And then she said, "What did you say that you?" And he goes, "Sorry." And then she goes, "And what else?" And he wouldn't say it. And then she said, "And you're not going to do that again. We don't do that with our fingers. We don't do, finger guns anymore. And that's not nice." And so then he was like, "Yeah, you know." But that was good enough for me because the fact that she came, she came and whisked him out. She talked to him in the office for an inordinate amount of time. They probably told the teacher, because she was on the campus. She was doing conferences. Uh, Anyhow, I felt like respected. I felt like dealt with. I felt like she looked at me like, okay, this woman comes here to sub for us, and we want her to come back. That's what I felt. And then she even said that she was like, um, Miss Brady came here, was nice enough to come here, and and be with you guys, and you have to be respectful. And like, they're kindergarten, so they don't understand much, but the rest of them, they were like angels. And I just was like, he was still a little bit naughty after that, but not like naughty like where he was trying to hurt me or throw stuff around. um he just really didn't do his work. um Maybe he doesn't understand, or I tried to work with him to write his name, and he got maybe 2 or 3 letters, but I noticed a lot of them weren't writing their names. So I wasn't sure 100%. It was my first time meeting them. So anyhow, my point is that I think God's message was, yeah, don't go back to that one place because that place did not treat you well. And you gave them 8 years of practice. And it wasn't like that for 8 years. But the last 3 years definitely was like that. And I desensitized myself from it and just kept on pushing myself, saying, maybe it's just the second grade building. The kindergarten and first and second grade, I'm not going to do that anymore. But I would do it. Every once in a while, I'd do it for this one teacher that would always ask me. And I would be like, oh, okay, let me do her a favor because she's calling me. You know, she's calling me because nobody will do it. Nobody wants to do that. Um, and if they do it, they don't last 8 years like me. So I just think that you ask and God will give you an answer. Your guides, your angels will give you an answer. And I'm really grateful for that. And hi, Fly a Bee. You didn't know that everyone around there allows the kids. Yeah, it's not every school because the school I was in today was really treated me with respect and acknowledged. And it was the message I got. So tomorrow is a different school, but they were the school. Tomorrow is the school that I was just at last week. And in September, when I went back to work, I went there for a half day, and I always have good results. Even when I had fifth grade last week, everything was great until the last half hour. And even the last half hour when that kid ran away from the bathroom to the gym, the other teacher helped me. And the other teacher made a big deal about it. And she went to talk to the parents. She said, let me talk to the parents. And you know what? I didn't take that as an insult. I took that as support. because you know what? No parent wants to hear from a sub that they've never seen me. They haven't seen me before because I haven't been at that school in a while. Anyway, I think God's message was yes, don't be disrespected. You gave them enough chances. You gave those teachers enough chances. You gave the administration enough chances, and they will not have the pleasure of having you anymore. Okay? But don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? Because had I said, you know what, maybe it's time for me just to fully retire, then I wouldn't have met those kids today. And they kept looking up at me. A couple of them said to me, "Are you going to be back tomorrow?" And I even told the teacher at the end of the day, and I said to Devin, "Does that hurt her feelings by saying that?" And he said, "No. Then she understands that you had a good day, with the kids, that they accepted you and they want to see you again." I said, "Oh, because I thought maybe she would be insulted, because usually kids, especially kindergarten kids, will say, 'Where is my teacher? I want my teacher. Why is my teacher absent?'" And I mean, the fifth grade kids were saying that. They were saying, "Why is the teacher absent? Where is she? Where is she?" And I was like, "What, you don't want me? You don't want to see me anymore?" And I'm thinking, maybe they don't. So I didn't have one kid cry. Nobody cried. I taught them some songs. They were smiling and laughing. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. Thank you, dear God. Because I started out, I taught kindergarten for a lot of years, and I spent 5 years in pre-K. So I used to have a very strong alliance with the little ones. But then I just figured, because I was old, because I got older, I can't really deal with the little ones. But maybe God is telling me circle back. So I guess, and I have to get going, because I have to get up in a few hours, so I have to power down. But I had a lot of people praying for me, and if you did say a prayer for me, I thank you so much. I felt it. And last night I was texting with Zen Jen, because she lives in Canada, and she's a nurse at night. And so she's working, and she texts me, she always answers me. And I said, what do I do to try to have a better day, a good day tomorrow? Because I was starting to get anxiety and thinking, what, maybe it's me, and what is this going to happen to me every single time? So she said she's praying for me, and then she told me different archangels, Archangel Metatron, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Michael, of course, and of course God. And that's what I did, and I had this on all day. This is my angel from Devin, and of course my cross and stuff. But I just wanted, and like Zen Jen was saying, you want to pray for a peaceful, easy day. She goes, "That's what I'm praying for you to have." And that's really what happened. It was so easy, even with the kid. Like, I'm not mad on him. I'm not mad about that kid. I know I'm going to see him again. And, he might be a ball buster, but you're always going to have a ball buster. I could take ball busters. I could take ADH kids. I could take ADD kids. Kids on the autistic spectrum. I've dealt with them my whole career. But kids that are allowed to throw a chair at a teacher, and you be treated like you were the trigger, and you say that right and so I was the talk of the school, apparently, because how else would that other teacher know that information? So, the secret to life. I know some secrets to life, but the secret to my life anyway that I found out, I figured out a lot of things by age 45, 46, 40. I wasn't able to do anything till maybe about 47. Then in the 50s, I was always looking forward to the 50s because I knew I'd feel empowered. And just basically what you learn to do is not give so many fucks about people who don't give so many fucks about you. Okay? And it's hard to do, especially when you're an empath, because I'm always thinking, like, let me give that person another chance. Let me give this school another chance. Let me give this teacher another chance. Let me give this administration another chance. Um, I'll try not to be so sensitive. I'm sure it's me. I'm paranoid. And I am paranoid sometimes. I admit it. But you know what? You really just have to ask God, what do I need to let go of? And what should I put more energy into? And usually he wants you to put more energy into yourself. But I always just hear the children, the children. And I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. And then when I lit that candle, that's what it's all about. It's like we don't want the kids that are being killed, massacred in the Middle East and all over. People in the United States, all the kids that are taken, murdered by their own family, murdered by strangers, murdered by people that they know in the family. The missing that aren't missing, because you know what? They're somewhere. And it's just like, do it for the children. If I didn't push myself, I wouldn't have met those beautiful kids today that said, hey, are you coming back tomorrow? And just like, yeah, I had that experience and I have to learn to let go and keep it moving. That's what my life is about. But if I do want to grieve it, I do want to feel bad about it. It's okay to feel bad about it and drop some salt from my eyes, but get back up on the horse again because I still have some to give. Um, yeah, and you know what? If you see a friend that seems like they're hurting, give them a text, give them a call and say, are you all right? And I got some of those calls. And I truly treasure that I got some of those calls. And some of them saw the video, some of them didn't see the video because they don't follow me, but they had a little energy and knew that something was happening with me. And you know, it's a stressful time for everybody. And you know, nobody needs my BS. But if like if you see somebody that might not be themselves, you know, they might seem a little down or a little empty, or a little without. I just heard that word, without. A little lost for their direction. Just talk with them, okay? And you might say, well, Katrina, we can't talk with you because you don't like to pick up the phone. Yeah, the way I talk and the way I communicate is through text and talk text and emails, okay? And that's, you know, that's what I can do. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm going to make chamomile tea with like a teaspoon or a tablespoon of cinnamon. And then you mix it around, you drink it. It's kind of a little bit thick, but it does help. And yeah, maybe I'll get some rest before kindergarten tomorrow in a different school. Okay. I love you all. Thank you for listening to me. And that is my truth. That is always ask God and your guides, please take this pain away from me and let me know, guide me into a direction of what I should do. Okay? And God doesn't want us to sit around feeling bad for ourselves, but God likes us to count our blessings. And I feel so blessed to have you guys, to have you all. I truly do. I feel blessed. And I don't usually use that word, but that's the only word for it. I feel blessed to be able to have my two legs and walk into these schools and keep on doing a mini lesson and, you know, doing work with these kids from pre-K to kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, um, any subject. You have to be able to do any subject. And so I'm just grateful that God is watching me and he doesn't want me to sit in the moment of like, okay, but this happened to me. That's so sad and that's so bad. Look what I have. I have Devin. Devin is like the most wonderful person that like every day he amazes me and he helps me and he kind of knows everything I'm thinking of in terms of like, oh, you know, what do you need to feel happier? What do you need to feel more relaxed and less stressed? And like he went out and he bought my stuff, my snacks for my lunch because he knew that I'd probably be working another day this week, and I am tomorrow. And so I'm just so grateful, and I'm trying to count the blessings instead of the stabbings. Okay, I'm trying to ignore the stabbings to my heart and the stabbings in my back because of all the beautiful things that God has given me and the hundreds and hundreds of children that I have been had the pleasure, the unique pleasure to be able to teach all these years since each age 17 to this age. Good night, everybody. I love you.